Let me tell you about a pair of earbuds. Maybe you own a pair just like them. When they were new, they were wonderful. They played music all day. They lasted for hours on a single charge. But now, a couple of years later, something has changed. They die fast. You put them in, and after just an hour, maybe even less, they are dead. The battery is worn out. That is all. Just the battery. So you think, no problem. I will simply replace the battery, like I would in a remote control or a toy. It is a tiny, cheap part. How hard can it really be? And that is when you hit a wall. Because you cannot replace the battery. Not you. Not a repair shop. Not even the company that made them. When the battery dies in these earbuds, the whole thing becomes trash. Perfectly good speakers, a perfectly good case, all thrown away because of one tiny worn-out battery that you are not allowed to touch. Why? Why can such a simple thing not be fixed? The answer is one of the most quietly evil tricks in all of modern gadgets. And it is not just earbuds. It is in your phone, your laptop, and so much more. In this video, we are going to look at the tricks companies use to make repair impossible, starting with something as simple and as sneaky as glue. Because these devices were not just built to fail. They were built so that you could never save them. Let's go back to those earbuds. There are experts who take gadgets apart, very carefully, to see how they are built. They score each one on how easy it is to repair. 0 means impossible. 10 means easy. When they took apart one of the most famous pairs of wireless earbuds in the whole world, they gave it a score of 0. A perfect 0. The lowest score there is. Not hard to repair. Impossible to repair. Why? Because inside each tiny earbud, the battery is buried in glue. It is not held by a clip you can open. It is not held by a screw you can turn. It is drowned in sticky glue, packed in tight around delicate little wires. To even reach that battery, you would have to heat the whole thing up to melt the glue, and then dig it out. And in doing so, you would almost certainly destroy the earbud itself. There is no clean way in. There was never meant to be one. The battery, the part most likely to wear out, was sealed away on purpose, right where no one could reach it. And here's the real kicker. Even the company that made them will not truly fix them. They offer a battery service. But what they actually do is not change your battery. They just hand you a whole new earbud and send your old one away. The message could not be clearer. These were never meant to be repaired. They were meant to be used up and thrown away and replaced. Think about that for a second. A pair of earbuds, full of rare metals and clever technology, designed from the very start to become garbage the moment the battery gets tired. Which, for every battery ever made, is only a matter of time. Because remember, every rechargeable battery wears out. It is not a fault. It is just how they work. After a couple of years, they hold less and less charge. This is true for every battery on Earth. So when you seal a battery inside a device, with no way to change it, you are really setting a timer. You are deciding, right there at the factory, that this device will die in about 2 or 3 years. Not because the speakers failed, not because the screen failed, but because the one part that always wears out was locked away where no one could ever replace it. A worn battery should be a 5-minute fix. They turned it into a death sentence. Now, glue is just one weapon in this war against repair. Let's look at another. Screws. You would think a screw is just a screw. And for most of history, it was. A few common shapes and a few common screwdrivers could open up almost anything in your home. But some companies did not like that. They did not want you opening up their devices. So they invented their own special screws. Screws with a strange shape that a normal screwdriver simply cannot turn. One famous example is a tiny screw with 5 little points, like a star. Regular tools just do not fit it. Think about how petty that really is. You buy a phone. You own it. And the company puts a special, secret screw on it, for one reason only, so that you cannot open the very thing you paid for. It is a tiny wall, built to keep you out, to make sure that if anything ever goes wrong, you have no choice but to come crawling back to them. But the sneakiest trick of all is the newest one. And it is so clever and so unfair that it is hard to believe it is even real. It is called parts pairing. Here's how it works. Every important part inside a modern device, the screen, the battery, the camera, the fingerprint reader, is given a secret number. And the device is taught to only accept the exact parts it came with from the factory. So imagine your phone screen cracks. You get a brand new screen. A real one. A genuine part, even taken from another identical phone. You fit it perfectly. and the phone lights up with a warning. It says the screen is not genuine. It might switch off features. It might nag you forever. It might disable the very things that made the phone special. The part is real. The part works. But the phone was told to reject it because its secret number does not match. The company has to bless that part from far away, or it will never fully work. Think about what this means. Even if you get the right part, even if you fit it perfectly, the device can still refuse to accept the repair. They have reached inside the machine you own and taken away your right to fix it. This is the trick that finally kills the small, independent repair shops. Not a lack of skill, not a lack of parts, just secret numbers and a company saying no. So let's add it all up. Who wins from all this glue and secret screws and lock parts? The companies, of course. If you cannot repair a thing, then you have to replace it. If your earbuds die, you buy new earbuds. If your phone's battery fades and you cannot change it, you buy a whole new phone. Every barrier to repair is another push toward another sale. They are not selling you a device to keep. They are selling you a device to use up. And who loses? You do. You spend far more, replacing things that could have been fixed for a few dollars. You lose the simple freedom to open and mend the things you own. And the planet loses most of all. This kind of design creates mountains of what we call electronic waste. Gadgets full of precious metals and nasty chemicals, thrown away by the billions, often long before their time, simply because they were built so that they could never be saved. Tiny earbuds, glued shut, are almost pure waste from the day they are made. And this is the pattern at the very heart of it all. It is not enough for them to make things that break. They also have to make sure that you cannot fix what breaks. The glue, the secret screws, the locked parts. It is all one single idea. Take away your power to repair, and you have no choice left but to buy again. But people are fighting back. All around the world, there is a movement with a simple, fair name. The right to repair. It says something obvious. If you buy a thing, you should be allowed to fix it. You should be able to get the parts. You should be able to open it up. And the parts should just work, without secret permission from a company far away. And the companies are fighting hard against these fair rules. They are spending a lot of money to keep repair difficult. And that, all by itself, tells you everything you need to know. If letting you fix your own things was not costing them a fortune in lost sales, they would not fight so hard to stop it. And it is not just small gadgets like earbuds and phones. This same war on repair has crept into bigger machines too. Take the laptop, a tool many people need for work and school. Not long ago, a laptop was a friend to anyone who wanted to keep it running. If it felt slow, you could add more memory. If you needed more space, you could swap in a bigger drive. If the battery got tired, you slid it out and put in a new one, sometimes without any tools at all. A good laptop could be nursed along and upgraded for many years. Now, look at many modern laptops. The memory is soldered onto the main board. That means it is melted into place permanently. You cannot add more, ever. The storage is often soldered down too, and the battery is glued inside, just like in the earbuds. So the moment any one of these parts is not enough or wears out, you cannot simply fix or improve it. You are told to buy a whole new laptop. A machine that could have grown with you for a decade is instead frozen in place and quietly aimed at the bin. Now, here is the hopeful part. Because a few brave companies are proving that it does not have to be this way. There are phone makers who build their phones to come apart with a simple screwdriver, with batteries and screens you can buy and swap yourself. There are laptop makers who build machines like building blocks, where you can open the case, add memory, change the storage, and replace almost any part with ease. They even sell you the parts and the guides directly. And guess what? These machines still work beautifully. They are still slim and modern and powerful, which proves something very important. All that glue, all those secret screws, all those locked parts were never really needed to make a good device. They were a choice to trap you, not to help you. Because if one company can build a great phone you can open and fix, then all the others could too. They simply decided not to. So why do most of them still fight so hard against repair? Follow the money. When a device cannot be fixed, every breakdown becomes a brand new sale. Repair is the enemy of that plan. So the biggest companies spend enormous amounts of money, quietly, to fight against the fair laws that would force them to let you fix your own things. They send people to argue about these laws. They warn of danger and disaster if customers are allowed to open their own gadgets. But strip away the fancy words, and the real reason is simple. A world where you can repair your things is a world where you buy far fewer new ones. And that terrifies them. There is a bigger cost here too, one that touches all of us. Electronic waste, all these dead gadgets, is now one of the fastest growing kinds of rubbish on the entire planet. Tens of millions of tons of it, every single year. Much of it is shipped off to poorer countries, where it piles up in huge, toxic dumps. People there, sometimes even children, pick through it and burn it to pull out the tiny bits of metal, breathing poison as they work. That is the far end of the glued-shut earbud and the sealed-in battery. A gadget designed to be thrown away does not just vanish. It lands somewhere. And that somewhere is a real place, with real people paying the price for a design choice made to boost sales. So how do you fight back, today, in your own life? First, before you buy, check how reparable a thing is. Those same experts who take gadgets apart post their repair scores online, for free. A quick search before you buy can steer you away from the glued-shut, throwaway gadgets, and toward the ones you can actually keep alive. Second, be very careful with tiny sealed gadgets, like cheap wireless earbuds. Understand that many of them are designed to be thrown away in just a couple of years. If you know that going in, you can choose more wisely, or pay a bit more for ones built to last. Third, support the companies doing it the right way. A few brave brands now build phones and laptops that are made to be opened, with batteries and parts you can swap yourself. When you buy from them, you are voting, with your money, for a better way to build things. Fourth, support the right to repair movement. It is slowly winning. Laws are starting to appear that force companies to sell parts, share their manuals, and stop locking their devices. Every little bit of support helps push it forward. Fifth, get comfortable with small repairs and cheap fixes. You do not need to be an expert. For many everyday problems, there are clear, free, step-by-step guides online, with pictures and videos, made by kind people who just want to help. Replacing a phone battery on a reparable model. Swapping a laptop storage. Cleaning out a jammed part. Many of these jobs are far easier than they look. And each time you fix something yourself, you save money, you save a gadget from the bin, and you take back a little of the power they tried to steal from you. And when you are truly done with a gadget, do not just throw it in the regular trash. Look for proper electronic recycling or trade-in programs, or a repair cafe in your town, where people gather to fix each other's broken things for free. Every gadget kept out of the dump, and every one kept running a few years longer, is a small, quiet victory against a system that wants everything you own to be disposable. And most of all, remember the trick. When a gadget cannot be opened, that is not an accident. When a battery cannot be changed, that is a choice. And when a real, genuine part gets rejected, that is a company telling you that you do not truly own the thing you paid for. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. So the next time your earbuds die, or your phone battery fades, and you are told there is nothing to be done but buy a new one, stop and think about the glue, about the secret screws, about the locked parts. None of it was there to help you. All of it was there to make sure that when the time came, you would have no choice but to pay again. They did not just build these things to fail. They built them so that you could never save them. But now you can see the walls they put up. And walls you can see are walls you can learn to climb. So the next time you are told that a small, silly problem means the end of a device you love, pause. Ask why it cannot be fixed. Ask who decided that, and who it really serves. Because a thing that cannot be repaired was not a gift to you. It was a leash. And the more of us who refuse to accept the glue, and the secret screws, and the locked parts, the harder it becomes for them to keep building that way. Repair is not just about saving a gadget. It is about who is really in charge of the things you own. You or them. For 100 years now, they have been quietly choosing themselves. It is time, at last, that we started choosing ourselves. And it can begin with one simple, stubborn word, said to a glued-shut gadget. No, this is just a couple of gadgets in your hands. On this channel, we take apart all the rest and show you every quiet trick hidden inside. Because once you can see how they are built to fail and built so that you cannot fix them, you can start choosing the things that set you free instead. So stick around. There is a whole lot more to uncover.